And Jesus answered him, saying, It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God.
Let's look at this text, beginning at the first verse. Then verily, the first covenant had also ordinances of divine service, worship, and a worldly sanctuary. For there was a tabernacle made, the first wherein was the candlestick, and the table, and the showbread, which is called the sanctuary. And after the second veil, the tabernacle, which is called the holiest of all. You may be seated. I was looking at this text prayerfully in preparation for Bible study. As you know, we are studying the book of Hebrews. Hebrews is the book of a better epistle. In this chapter, the writer of Hebrews does something for the reader. In this particular chapter, Brother Johnson, the writer of Hebrews paints a picture of the sanctuary. Since he's dealing with better, he often draws a picture of what was to give us a lesson on what is going to be. For there to be anything better, it means by comparison greater than what was. I know you've not got the title, but hang with me a little bit. In this book, in this particular chapter, he does some things for us. Deacon Montgomery, he tells us how the original tabernacle was designed. He lets us know without doubt that God purposely structured by pattern the original tabernacle. He talks about this worldly sanctuary in contrast with the heavenly sanctuary, so that we might be able to see that we're moving from not necessarily bad to good, but from good to better. While studying this book, as I shared with our Wednesday night class, I noticed that the writer begins to detail the contents of the sanctuary. He talks about the sanctuary in the division of two logical parts: the outer sanctum, or the outer sanctuary, and the inner sanctum, or the inner sanctuary. And most of us have heard stories. We know some of the things that were in both parts. For in the outer sanctuary was the candlestick, the table with showbread. In the inner sanctuary was the Ark of Covenant, the golden bowl that had the manna, Aaron's rod that still budded, the Ten Commandments, which were on stone. And yet there was a veil that was there in the sanctuary that separated the holy place from the holies of holies. Are y'all with me? Most of us remember that in the Passion Week, when Christ died, that there was an event that helps us to discover what happened to the veil. The Bible says that when Jesus died, the veil in the temple rent in two, giving us access to the Holy of Holies. Verse number 3 of our text turns something else up for our consideration. It says, after the second veil, the tabernacle, which is called the holiest of all. Now wait a minute, let me put here before I go, and I'm gonna give you the title, and we're gonna take it the express route. But I know what happened to that veil. But the Hebrew writers remind us that there is another veil. So I want to talk this morning from the subject, what happened